Welcome everybody to another episode of the P.R.O Mormon podcast. My name is Philip, and today I'm pretty excited. I got a special guest with me today, Jeremy Goff from the blog My Life by Gogo Goff. I think that's right?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Awesome. So I'm really excited about today. In my last episode, I talked specifically about how there's like this need for more positive LDS content online. So I'm super excited to be able to feature someone who puts out a lot of positive LDS content online, kind of just staying with that trend. So just real quick, let's just dive right into it. Jeremy, kind of tell us what your blog is about and how you got started, and kind of what you do.
Okay, sweet. I'll probably start with how I got started, and that will explain what it's about.
Perfect.
So I got back from my mission, kind of everyone's like, make sure you come home from your mission. You don't stay on the mission. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And I did what most all RMs do, is you come home and you're like, I'm going to keep doing everything, but I just won't be a missionary. And really quickly I realized that everything started falling out. And about 1 year back from being home, I realized I was doing nothing productive with my life. I wasn't sharing the gospel. I wasn't doing any of the things that I've found have actually bring me lasting joy. And I became addicted to video games. I think I played like 150 hours of video games in a single month. There's a lot.
I've been there.
I was like, oh dang. yeah. And so I'm like, I gotta do something. I gotta do something productive. I gotta do something actually worthwhile, because I just feel like garbage if I know I'm wasting my life. So I don't write. I literally my mission journal has I think 22 pages in it. I did not write, but in my planners I put little notes of little stories like, remember the Tunbridge miracle? And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I was sitting there one day and I pulled out all my mission journals. I started going through all of them. Like, these are some actually really funny stories I've been telling people, and they always love. I'm going to write them up and put them on Facebook. And so I write up a story and put it on Facebook. And doing that, it started getting dozens of people. And that's an amazing miracle, or this, that. I'm like, I wonder if I put it on a blog if more people would get it. And so I started putting the miracles on the blog. And then I'm thinking, I wonder if I could actually share my opinion, not just my experiences. And so I wrote an article, and it was 5 things I wish someone had told me before I started my mission. And it ended up getting picked up by LDS Living and by LDS Missionaries and LDS Smile, and all the large major LDS websites started sharing that, and it got thousands of views. I was like, what in the world? I can have the ability to share the gospel online and have it seen not just by 2, 3, or maybe 10 or 15 of my direct friends, but I could potentially help people all over the world. And so I started doing that. I started writing articles, and my first year was really small. I mean, I put a lot of effort in. I got 100,000 people who read my stuff, and I thought that was fantastic. And then last year it got all the way up to 400,000. And then in 2017, I said, I was sitting there, and I was at the beginning of the year, I was like, I set some goals. I'm like, I want to reach 1 million people this year. I'm like, that's not realistic. I literally have 7,000 people who follow my blog on Facebook, and I have like 1,000 people in my newsletter. There's no way for me to hit 1 million. And so even though that's what I kept on feeling I should set, I set a goal. I'm like 500,000. That's a pretty big goal. So stretch myself, 25% increase. Well, when I hit 500,000 people in July, I was like, oh, holy crap, this actually, I'm like, maybe you should have faith that if the Lord tells you you can do something, you can do it. And so I said, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to hit that 1 million. And in late October, I ended up hitting that 1 million mark. And it was really amazing because my writing has shifted just from strictly missionary to basically all things cultural. Because I find that you have the gospel culture, and then you have Mormon culture. And there are areas where they overlap, and that's good. Mm-hmm. Like, it's amazing when you have people who are living the gospel or the cultural thing. But then I realized there's a lot of areas where our culture, we've become much like the Sadducees and the Pharisees, where we are sitting there and the Pharisees would make up additional rules saying, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. And they started building an entire law around the law to protect it. Mm-hmm. And I started realizing that there's a lot of things that we culturally demand people do that are unrealistic. And so I started addressing those social constructs that we've started to build in the church, because I realized they're hurting my friends, hurting them really bad. And I was sitting there in precept one day, and we were talking about living the gospel. And Tom was just like, I don't feel like I can ever live up. And I stopped, and I'm like, no, you can live up to the gospel. Anyone can live the gospel. You're trying to live up to the culture. And not even God the Father can live up to the culture. Because the Mormon culture says, if you have a child fall away, you're a bad parent. Heavenly Father had a third of his children fall away. So according to Mormon culture, God is a bad father.
Exactly.
Therefore, the culture needs to go. The culture needs to change. It is not healthy. And so I've started to try to take what we have as a culture and try to say, okay, this part right over here, that doesn't fit. We need to drop it off. And so that's really what my writing has become lately, is I try to look at things that are affecting people and get to the root doctrines behind it and say, okay, here's what the prophets and apostles have told us we should bear our testimonies about. And contrary to a lot of people's belief, they told us it's okay to bear what's dubbed a zencamony, where you stand up and you say what you're thankful for.
Yeah.
And there's doctrine to back that up. But there's not doctrine to back up stories where you're going off on a travel log and you're like, and then we went to Disneyland. Believe me, the food is fantastic. And they go on and on and on. They're like, not the appropriate form for it. It's not the appropriate form for you to come out and to teach and preach a doctrine, like the girl who came out over the pulpit and decided she was going to preach about, homosexuality over the pulpit. Like, that's not what a testimony is.
Exactly.
It's not the fact that she is not allowed to say things like that. It's just the proper form. And so it's been really cool to write articles like that. And like that one about testimonies, it had 200,000 people read it. And my mind is like, how?
That's a lot. That's amazing.
How can somebody who had 22 pages in their missionary journal, and then 200,000 people read a single article you write? And I just got to say that it's been really cool, and it's all absolutely because God will put it in my mind and say, build on it. And it comes to something that I'm like, I didn't even think about this at the beginning. Mm-hmm. And so it's been really cool. And so that's kind of what I do with my blog is I will try to adjust social and cultural things that I see as an issue, and not just say, here's a problem, but I try to say, here's a problem, and here's the solution for the problem.
I like that a lot. I do. And I really like how you pointed out that, like, you didn't really expect a lot of what's actually happened. You didn't expect to reach the million, people that you reached in the year. But it really goes to show that, like, there is a need for this type of content out there. Like, people want to hear that, that little thing about the church, that someone said to me bugged me a little bit. That wasn't doctrine. That was just a certain person that had a little thing and they said it that was weird. And I think it makes it easier for people to not internalize those issues now. It was just a guy with a problem. It wasn't the church attacking me, And I think as we separate the culture and the doctrine, we really do fix that. But it really goes to show that there was over 1 million people last year that were in need of that type of content. And I think in the past...
there's way more than that.
100%. And in the past, it just wasn't there. People were kind of afraid to put their testimonies out online. They were afraid to be ridiculed or attacked by the quote-unquote anti-Mormon community because they're pretty strong out there, But it amazes me that you were able to have that much success just last year. That's incredible.
Oh, absolutely. It's not because I'm a great writer. A lot of people try to chalk up when I talk to them and tell them my story. They're like, oh, you're a great writer and this and that. I'm like, I'm not. Mm-hmm. I'm not. When I took my college intro exams 2 years ago, I fell into remedial writing. You need to take a class to get into college so you can get to college level.
Yeah.
That was God kind of smacking me in the face, saying, this is not you and your skill. This isn't you being a great writer. This is me giving you something.
Oh, I love that.
And it was funny because I got that result. I got that result where they said you're sub high school level in writing. Uh-huh. And I'm like, wait, no. And I walk outside and I was like, God, what? And also I pull up my phone and I have a message from LDS Living saying, congratulations, your article you wrote on dating has been the #1 article for 7 days in a row. That's unheard of.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, what in the world? And I realized that if you are putting your talent, you may have this much skill, but if you're putting it to the work of the Lord, He expands it. You don't need to be a doctoral professional of religion to share the gospel online. You don't need to have an English degree. You don't need to have those things. Here I am, writing an article with quote unquote sub-high school level of writing, reaching thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, and it's helping share the gospel online. You don't need a degree to be a missionary.
No, but you just gotta open your mouth, and or write in this case, right? Just be willing. But that's amazing. I think I've seen, because I follow you on Facebook. I think I seen you started this whole thing with like a daily insight from the Book of Mormon, and I thought that was such a cool idea.
Oh yeah, so that's actually something I did for accountability with my reading of the scriptures. It was really hard to always remember to read the scriptures, and so I set a goal. I'm like, if I shared something every day, then I have to read something every day. Yeah. And I had people who would start messaging me saying, hey, it's 10 and you haven't shared your insight. What's going on? I'm like, yeah. And it got bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where now I will take time and I'll at my breaks at work, I will read the Book of Mormon and pick out the verse of each chapter so I can start scheduling so that every single morning it's prompt on time, because I realize that the number one thing that will take the culture of the gospel and the culture of the community and help us see where the overlap is and where the part that we need to drop off is reading the Book of Mormon. Because most people haven't. Yeah. Most people don't read the Book of Mormon. They've never read the Book of Mormon, and they're not currently reading the Book of Mormon. And so, like, if we could just read the Book of Mormon, even just one verse in a paragraph of an insight, that little bit, every single day for the year, you're going to come across with a great understanding of what the actual doctrine is, and then what's the garbage that people try to add in? What's their opinions on, oh, the word of wisdom, this means this. And it doesn't stop interpreting extra things into stuff.
No, I like that a lot, because it's kind of something I mentioned with like in my podcast as well, that like part of the reason I started doing this was accountability. It forces me to make sure I'm up on my studies and I know my stuff, because just like as a missionary, you can't teach somebody something if you don't know it pretty well. So for me, just rambling on here for 10-15 minutes by myself, like I feel like I got to be able to explain it understand it really well to be able to explain it in this type of format. So I like that, because the accountability part, obviously it helps you, but then you're putting content out every day and you're just reaching more and more and more people. And it's just, I just kind of want to applaud you for that one. That one's awesome.
Thank you. It's actually been a really cool thing to see how many sites I've been able to approach and say, hey, I'm putting in this effort every day. Will you share this?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I've gotten to the point now where like every single insight is seen by a minimum of 50,000 people.
Oh, that's
every
crazy.
single morning.
That's crazy.
I mean, the first week of January, my Facebook page had a reach of 2 million people in 7 days. 7 days, 2 million people.
Well, there went that goal from last year, right?
Yeah, well, that getting someone to see something on Facebook, I have found it far easier. I will average 1 to 2 million a month. Getting someone to actually go to my blog and read a full article, people don't like to read, so that's in and of itself another battle.
Yeah,
but it's been really cool. It's been really cool to see something and be like, hey, that helped me. I'm so different than everyone else. I bet it would help them. I just heard a talk from Elder Holland. That really hit home with me. I'm going to share it on my Facebook page and say, hey, everyone, this is a talk where Elder Holland shared a story about when he was a bad dad. He yelled at his son. His son asked, hey, will you at least say prayers with me before I go to bed? And he's like, no, go straight to bed. And that night, he had a dream where he was rebuked by God, and it changed his life.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's an amazing story. So I go post a single conference talk on my Facebook page. 1 million people have watched that.
Ooh. That is,
and I'm like,
that's amazing.
We are not different. The people listening and the people talking are not different. The only difference is one of them is willing to open their mouth. And so if every single member of the church was to realize that they're no different than me, they're no different from you, they're no different from the Al Foxes and the Don Armstrongs, they're no different than all these big-time writers of LDS living, the difference is only in what you are willing to do. And that is opening your mouth or saying, I'll let somebody else earn that blessing for sharing the gospel.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's the biggest thing right there, is the willingness to do it, right? I think we see that as like a missionary, that like you can get people who are like almost completely, not like illiterate, but like they don't speak well, they don't present super well, but they're just willing to put the work in. And those are the guys that just like have crazy amounts of success. It wasn't their personal, talents or anything like that. It was just they showed the willingness and the Lord took advantage of it. And I think that's exactly what we have to do.
The Lord doesn't need qualified people.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, you think about,
He just wants willing. He just needs willing.
yeah, you got like Joseph Smith, right? 14-year-old, lived on a farm. You got Moses, who could barely even speak, right? I mean, you had all these guys who have so many restrictions, but they were willing. And that's the big kicker.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, I think we've been going for what, like 20 minutes now? I don't even know. Going for a while.
Oh, dang.
But no, I think this is awesome. So heck, I don't want to take too much more of your time, but I'd love to have you on like another time maybe and talk about, I don't know, whatever else you got going on, new project you're working on, new articles, things like that. Or maybe even to just discuss, certain topics as they come up. But I just want,
I'd love to come back on and talk more about that.
Yeah, I just want to like give a little plug real quick. Where's the best place for people to follow your content or your stuff?
So the best place where everything is all centralized is actually my Facebook page. Okay. It's My Life by Gogo Goff.
Cool.
Goff is my last name. Gogo is my nickname. And so basically, I'll post everything on there that is of value that I have found, including things I've written, other people have written. Just basically, it's kind of like the central hub there. And if you go to there, you'll see everything. Perfect.
Okay, I'll put a little link down in the description for the video as well, so people they can just click on that, it'll go straight there. I'll also put kind of down at the bottom of the video, just a little tag there for you, so people know how to go follow you. And everyone who's listening to this, go give him some love, because his articles are awesome. I've read a couple of them. He shares great videos. He just puts awesome stuff out there. He's a great follow. I know sometimes on Facebook we get a little nervous of like following a lot of people because they fill up the timeline, so to speak, for us. But this is definitely one that you want to go follow. So everyone, go check it out. And man, keep doing what you're doing. Like, I think it's obviously the results you're seeing so far are just proven to you that there's a need for it, and people are out there looking for stuff. They're looking for that positivity. So we just got to be willing to put it out there, and they'll find it. So more power to you, man. More power to you.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming, and I'll definitely stay in contact so we can try and do this again.
Absolutely. Have a great rest of your day. And everybody, remember, you're called to share, not to spam.
Exactly. Love it. Hey, take care, man. Have a good one.
Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you so much, everyone who's still listening. I really hope you enjoyed this interview that I had with Jeremy Goff from the blog My Life by Gogo Goff. His content is super good, and I think his story is really impactful. It shows us that there's really a need for positive LDS content to be put out there. People are looking for it, whether they be members of the church or people who are investigating or anyone who's just curious. Positivity is really needed, and I really like his story about how he started off, he wasn't expecting to get like a whole bunch of feedback, but people kept loving what he was putting out there, and it just took off. And last year he had over 1 million people that he reached. This year he's just blowing up again, and really goes to show you that people want this positive content out there. They're looking for it, and as long as we are willing to be the ones who put it out there, the Lord will make sure it reaches the people it needs to reach. But we just have to be the ones who are willing to share the gospel. And nowadays, the best way to do that is through the internet, right? So I just really love his story. Be sure to check him out. And thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And as always, be sure to follow me on all the social media links, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I think that's all of them. And you can always listen to the episode on SoundCloud if you don't have time to watch the full video. You can go listen to it there, and hopefully that'll make it a little more convenient for you. Thank you so much, and have a great one. Bye.